Let's start with the topic of education. What is education?
It's so funny that I can't answer that question immediately. It's the it's the attempt to educate, right? It's the attempt to relay knowledge, to relay skills, to leave someone, with some understanding that they didn't otherwise have. What is the purpose of education? For me, it comes back to, I think that one of the main themes of our conversation today, it's to instill a sense of curiosity in someone. Yeah. Because I think about this as a father as well. I'm not going to be here forever. What do I want from my kids? I want them to be self-educators, and that comes about not. That can't come about because you're thinking, I've got to go get a job in 20 years, yeah. Right? To be a self-educator means you're interested in the world, you're curious about the world. So I think education is really about fostering that sense of curiosity so that we can teach ourselves to the best of our abilities.
Is the learning system flawed to favor societal goals rather than the students? I'm asking this because we live in a society where grades are valued higher than learning. How can we improve on that?
Oh God, I wish I knew the answer to your question. One of the things that we tried to do here at this school was to introduce a gradeless initiative, which I was lucky enough to be a part of that drive. You're better place to tell me. You're in year 12. I don't know if you would have been a part of all of that. You probably would have just missed it, right? Were you at any point when you were in NYP, would you have not received grades but only feedback?
I do believe we had grades and feedback. Okay,
so yeah, you would have just missed it. So that's maybe another part of this project. Maybe you might want to go and ask some of the younger students what they think of that, whether or not they regard it to have been something that brought about the sort of mental shift that you seem to be alluding to. I think it might have had a little bit of effect, but is it going to have a wide-ranging effect? No, because this is the problem that we have is universities are dictating how it is that people get to their institutions, and those institutions want numbers, because how else can they make distinctions between people? So you might want to chat with some of the leadership team about this. I know that there are discussions higher up of moving to things like transcripts and different types of evidence to give to universities. But I do wonder what that could end up looking like in reality. Is there a massive pressure on young people to get the highest grades? I think sometimes it's, while I do really try my best to live by and instill the sort of philosophy that I've just discussed about natural curiosity, et cetera, I think as teachers we have to be just honest and realize that, especially in a place like Hong Kong, which is incredibly competitive, it's utterly understandable that students are going to see grades as of being of significant importance. I hope that what we've done here to try to remove some of that thinking at a younger age has been somewhat successful. There's a hell of a long way to go. I hope that but when students get to year 11, 12, etc., then the introduction of grades at that point, hopefully you've done some initial wiring of the younger minds so that they're not thinking about the numbers, and they realize what matters more is the discussion, the feedback, and these sorts of things. But there's a whole history, and there's a whole history of societal pressures and institutions and treadmills and railway lines taking us from path A to B and C, and people not necessarily seeing is that there have been other options that need to be not destroyed, but reevaluated before we can effectively make changes along the lines that you might be alluding to.